Good evening for those who are in Africa. It is afternoon, I think, back in the US. It is also afternoon or evening back in the United Kingdom. I hope you're all well. We are live today again on Tanya Innovations Africa. And I would like to welcome our listeners, the viewers, those who have endeavored to sacrifice time to come on this platform. I am happy that we already have our guest tonight, all the way from Florida, Madam Rachel Beck. We are so happy to have you on board this afternoon in your time. And you are most very welcome. To our listeners and viewers, I know that you have just come out of Eid, and want to thank those who managed to do the fasting, those who did the prayers, to make sure that our continent and the world gets better. Congratulations. We would also like to pray for mercy to those who have gone through very hard time, because we know that it's not an exception just for happiness, but people go through very difficult time. This evening, the host, Maganda Evans Tabingwa, the head of Business Life Global Africa, but also the CEO, Tanya Innovations, and I am your host tonight. I am also happy to let you know that our guest tonight is none other than Miss Rachel Beck, all the way from Florida, United States, representative of BLG in that area. And I'm sure that I may not be competent enough to introduce her full profile. And for that matter, I am sure she will say hi, and then she will tell us who Rachel Beck is. Madam Rachel, welcome to Tanya Innovation Show.
Good afternoon, all the way from Florida. Thank you so much for having me. Can I see you still? Okay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, all right, because I thought I lost you for a second. It is an honor and privilege to be here. You and I met through Business Live Global. I represent America, and it's a very fun story because I was introduced to Victoria Beale through one of our close girlfriends named Rubina, and she connected us in the beginning of the pandemic, and Victoria and I and Rubina have been sisters since, and Victoria gave me the honor and privilege of representing America, and that is how you and I met. Right. We see each other every month in our monthly meeting.
Okay. So
okay.
Rachel, do you want to tell our viewers, speak to our listeners, who is Rachel Beck in terms of, in terms of maybe your background, in terms of, yeah?
Sure. What I do for a living. I am a social media influencer. I am an author. I am a public speaker. I run my own company, and I also produce my own show daily. That's what I do for work, because that's a common question that I get. People always ask me, what do you do for a living? And that is everything like under the umbrella, under my company. I do all those. But if you're asking about my story, it's very complicated. It's very complicated. It's very deep.
I think I was majorly interested, like when I was reading your profile and, some of the achievements that you have been able to get. We interested, especially in Africa, to learn how you've been able to get to where you are. For example, you are an award winner, and that has been through photography. What does this international award winner mean? Yeah, I think it's something that we'd love to learn. It's not quite a common trend here in Africa, although we have awards in different sectors, but would like to know what did it take or what did it mean to have this international award? Yeah, and then we've also seen quite amazing work on LinkedIn, pulling over 280,000 people to your profile. Would love to understand what has been behind that. How have you been able to get to this?
Well, those are really good questions. And I was listening to everything you said. So before I did everything I'm doing now, which I've been doing for years, I was a photographer for many years, close to a decade. Photography is something that I took as a hobby and turned into a business, which came from a suggestion of somebody in my family. He said, I had gone through something really horrible in my life, and it was a crossroads moment. And he said, if you love photography so much, how come you're not doing this, for a living? And within a week, I had set up my company and ran the photography business. When it comes to the international award, I was very deeply humbled and honored because somebody had submitted my photo to a contest that I knew nothing about. And I had woken up one day and they said, congratulations, you won. It actually won for a photo. The contest was in India, which is where I was born. It's where I come from, even though I was adopted and raised in the States. Someone had submitted my artwork on my behalf, and it was a big deal to me, not just to win, because there's so much behind that photo. The person who I had taken a photo of changed my life forever, but that someone nominated it on behalf of me was very, very sweet. When it comes to LinkedIn and social media, which is a huge part of my life, there's many things that I'm trying to accomplish. I am trying to teach people that social media can be used for good and not bad. I am trying to humanize social media. People are very obsessed with numbers. They see the numbers by a profile. I'm trying to teach them that every number represents a human being. And that's really important for people to realize that, yes, it is. I am deeply honored and grateful for the size of my network. I love my network. They're in my heart. They know that. They've been with me for years. It takes drive and determination. It takes a lot of work. I put the work in that is required for my network to exist. Now, did I do this on my own? Absolutely not. I celebrate other people's success on this platform. All of us come together, we help each other out, and that's the biggest mistake people make on social media. They use social media for themselves, and they don't collaborate with people like you and I are doing today. They don't support other people, and that's why people fail on social media. It is a team. Since I am standing here telling you I didn't do this alone. I did it with a lot of work and from help from other people.
Wow. I think you've just brought out a very important point of humanity, but that's the very point that is disappearing from social media. So I wonder how you are able to do that, because these days people will say, so long as I'm shining out there and making it, the rest you'll be able to find me. You'll be able to find me along. Now, I don't know from your experience how you have managed to handle the negativity that comes with people, especially on social media. Rather than people being able to concentrate on positives or trying to use social media to cause positive social change. For example, in Africa, social media is where people will go and throw all their frustrations with a lot of negative comments about people. And I think it is so scary that to be in a public profile, you know, anything that you post, you are not sure what type of wrath that you are going to face from the people, or the viewers or listeners for that matter. How have you managed to keep this trend smooth? Or have you also had a dosage of your own in that regard?
Oh my God, I can tell you so many stories. Yes, of course people come hard at me. They've been coming hard at me, of course. The more you climb on social media, the more they come at you. That's what happens. And here's what I do: tips for success every Friday for my network. I've been teaching them how to succeed on this platform. This is what I told my network a couple of weeks ago. So I have a steel cage around myself. Okay. Inside that steel cage is my soft heart. Okay. I have a very soft, gentle heart. The only way to survive on social media is to create very clear boundaries. That's the only way you're going to do it. And if you don't, you teach people the way you want to be treated when it comes to social media. Okay. That's what it comes down to. And that's what I do. And that's what I tell my network. I said, listen, if they'll write me a message, say, Rach, I'm dealing with this. I'm like, or someone's being disrespectful or they're being unkind. I only keep kind, positive people in my network. My network knows that. And I keep a big bubble around them. You have to teach people how to treat you on social media.
Oh, okay. And how do you do that? Do you tell people that how do you manage that? Because I think it's quite a challenge as you have new people coming on board and you are also using them as a network. Do you manage to remove some? How do you communicate these boundaries?
Okay, so yes, I have, Maganda. I've had to block a lot of people. I've never made it a week without blocking people. It's never happened. Why? Because someone will write me a really disrespectful comment in direct messaging, or they'll just do something that's inappropriate. So, and here's the thing in life, people make their choices and there's always consequences, right? I don't ask for a lot. I ask people to be kind and respectful to me. And if they do that, I'll be your best friend. I'm taking my whole network to the top. That's what I'm determined to do. I want everybody in my network to succeed. I want all their dreams to come true. So I'm trying to teach the way of community. But if you don't have boundaries on social media, if you don't have the grit, you have to have like grit. You have to have, it's a huge, massive responsibility. Social media is a huge, huge responsibility. And that is something that people are forgetting about.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So we get the issue of establishing boundaries, being very clear of what you stand for. You also bring out a very interesting story that you teach people how they should be able to treat you. And I think that's maybe that's something that the young people may need to learn. Yeah. I don't know what this looks like in the United States. In Uganda, we use social media for very many reasons. Or sometimes you have followers because of the content. Some people will follow you because of the type of content. I was interested to know the nature of content that you are able to share. And also, do you know, I don't know whether your followers are profiled in terms of age, whether you can know, whether you have the ability to know the age brackets of your followers, and also the content. Which side does your content fall? Do you share more videos? Are they motivational messages? Are they experiences? What type of information, what type of content do you usually have on your platform?
So 90% of what I do, Maganda, is videos, and that being exactly what you and I are doing. I interview somebody to come onto my show. They have to motivate, inspire, and educate my network. My network has to walk away with learning something. If you have a social media network, people need to ask themselves, what value are they providing to their network? If you're not providing anything to your network, Why do you have a network? I mean, people need to ask themselves that. If you're not giving something to your network and you're not, there's no reason for them to be there. So that's a huge part of it. I do videos. I've done text when I first started. I do a lot of writing, but I would say 100% of what I do now is videos. There is a tremendous amount of power in videos when it comes to social media.
Oh, okay. That's powerful. Okay. Now, would you say that these videos are in this particular direction? Are they just inspirational? Is it business? What type of videos do you have?
It's all different kinds. It's all different kinds of videos because I bring on guests in many different fields, in many different areas, and they're telling their story and they're discussing what their business is about, and then they're leaving information. Right. So if I have I have many guests on who are big in the financial world, they'll drop advice when it comes to finances. I have a psychologist on the show who'll talk about mental health. I had a country singer on the Star. She talks about what it is to break into the music business. I have an actress coming on the show in a couple of weeks. She's going to be talking about what it means to be in the business. I've had Hollywood directors. They talk about how to get into the business. So I bring these experts on the show to talk about how to get into the business. They share their successes. They share their failures, which is important. People need to learn that.
Yeah, okay. Okay, great. Just briefly, I'm going to read some comments that are passing through. Mr. Joseph Kaune, I can see we are tuned in. Thank you so much. We appreciate you, Joseph. Annette Nsovani from Switzerland. Tanya Innovation, thank you for organizing this event. Annette Nsovani is one of our members on BLG from Switzerland. Yeah. So they are following from Switzerland. Lillian Esse of Elami International, thanks for the show. And she also agrees with you that establishing boundaries is very key. Then Stanley Makoha from Nairobi, Kenya. You know Kenya? Yeah.
Yes.
He says, getting you live and clear, good questions. Yeah, thank you, members, those who are online, and we appreciate your time. Yeah. Okay, so you have emphasized the need to keep boundaries. What about the category of people? Do you know, for example, the category of followers, whether
yes.
Which group, which age brackets?
The demographics? You're talking about the demographics. So you don't know people's ages on LinkedIn unless they tell you what. I'm in my mid-40s on my way to my 50s. That you can't see on the profile. You can't see that. So my network ranges from I have people who are like 18 all the way up. I have people in their 90s that are inside my network. And I learn, and I have people on my show who are in their 20s. And then I have one coming on the show soon who's 88. So it's all different ages, but no, I can't tell you what ages they are, but the range is huge. It's all different backgrounds, all different, this is a huge global platform. So it represents, hundreds and hundreds of different countries across this world. I have people in my network from every single continent except Antarctica.
Oh, okay. Except?
Antarctica, where it's really cold.
Okay, yeah. Okay. So, okay, I'll also read some comments from Joshi Bambo, Johannesburg. He says, evening all, interesting discussions. We do really appreciate Rachel Beck's time.
Thank you.
Justin Sovani from the UK, thanks for your inspirational speech, Rachel.
Thank you.
Okay, I think that is still Annette. Thank you, Rachel, for this show. Very fruitful. Thank you all for tuning in. Now, Rachel, we've just had the COVID season. that has actually made the boundaries. I would say that the use of technology in this COVID season has actually shown that we can actually be able to do much if we network. I am now speaking to you. You are you are miles away from Africa. I've just been thinking about opportunities, sharing opportunities, and also trying to see how we can use this social media to market each other. I come, for example, from a city, a business city, a tourism city in Uganda. And we also have, in Uganda, for example, is called the Pearl of Africa. And I was thinking, just like the beach which is behind you, how could we be able to use these social medias to market our destinations? Because we have this beauty, but it will take people years to be able to realize that there is such beauty in the world. For example, when you talk about the 5 big mammals, the lions, the elephants, all these, we have them, for example, back here. If you talk about the natural environment, we have quite fresh air. We have a lot of lush green that people would actually be willing to see. But I know that because we have very many destinations, or this information is not available. How could we work to be able to make sure that so many of your people can be able to have this information? And that's why I was talking about, why I was asking about the videos. For example, can we have short documentaries about the beauty in Uganda, about the equator, and share them for you to be able to share on your network?
I think videos, okay, so Maganda, videos are, people love videos, right? Okay. Whether you're educating them or you're entertaining them. Yeah, if you're out, and people would love that. I am friends with a lot of influencers in Africa. They're very, very close friends of mine, some of the biggest ones in Africa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and they do videos, you know, so like if you get out there, and people would love that. I would love to see a video of, you know, the lions or a safari, or let's say you're taking me on a tour, you're in a Jeep and you're going through a safari. People would love that. And yes, post that to your network. Show people the beauty that is Africa. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Then I think that is a good area for collaboration. Now let's go back to BLG.
Yes.
What can you tell us about BLG in the United States of America, being their representative? What actually do you do in relation to BLG?
Okay, so when Victoria and I met, the whole world was locked down, right? The entire world was locked down, like how we all met. So Victoria and I have things planned for America, so stay tuned for that.
Oh, okay.
Stay tuned for that. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I am deeply passionate about being, you know, I come from India. I have 2 homes, right? India is my home, and so is America. I am an Indian American woman. There are many of us here. So for Victoria to ask me to represent my country, it's a big deal. It's truly an honor and privilege. So stay tuned. Things will be coming. I'll just say that.
Okay. Let me still read some. We have Beauty Point College. This is an interesting platform to be. Thank you very much. I also that social media has massive audience for business and socializing too. Yeah, we agree. Then there is the president of Incredible Youth, Mr. Brian Ntwatwa. He says, greetings from Incredible Youth and BLG Family Uganda. Okay?
Nice.
I think those are all tuned in, sending you greetings. Okay.
Thank
So,
you. Greetings to everybody.
okay, thank you. So, what are those 5 things you would say that you would recommend to people who are just starting social media platforms? People who are trying
Okay,
to
one.
pull crowds. Yeah? Are there some 5? If there are more, you can be able to bring them out. If there are less,
Yes.
that is still okay. But what are those 5 things that you will say, either they are the do's or don'ts of ensuring proper social media management?
Number one, make sure your profile looks good. Are you taking the time? Do you have a good photo on your profile? That's like really, do you have a photo period? So that's really important. Work on your profile. Okay. Because when people send me, like if someone says, I would like to meet Maganda, I'm going to send his profile over them to make the introduction. So what does your profile look like? Your photo, right? That becomes your business card on LinkedIn. Every time I comment, my photo is there. So you take the time, get a good photo, even if you do it with your cell phone or you hire a photographer, that photo is everything. So make sure you're doing that. That's number one. Number two, are you out there engaging with people? Are you doing that? That is how every relationship is built. Every relationship and friendship is going to create more opportunities to you when it comes to business. So are you out there building those relationships? That is crucial. Get out there, engage with people. It is so important. Okay. So that's number 3. Number 4, let me just say this. I've told my network this. Everything you say or write on social media is seen by everybody. People is the biggest mistake I see people making. They don't think before they write on social media. They don't think before they speak on social media. This is your digital footprint. And I tell my network this all the time. What you are putting into this world right now, would you be happy with it 10 years down from the line? Could you look back and go, I wish I didn't say that? So that's something for people to be conscious of. Use that as your gauge. If like 10 years down the line, like everybody goes, first thing people do now, right? They're when you even as a job seeker, and I've had a lot of HR people on my show. What do you think the first thing they do when they get a resume is? They go to your social media. They're going to see what you stand for. They're going to look at what your behavior is. They're going to look at your activity. So that's something for all the job seekers out there to be aware of. Are you proud of what you're putting into the world now? And are you doing anything that is hurting? Are you self-sabotaging yourself on social media where you said the wrong thing and you can't take that back? Yes, you can delete a comment. That's not what I mean. But you have a huge trail on social media. So you need to ask yourself, what kind of trail are you leaving behind?
Wow. Okay. That may look simple, but I think it's quite helpful. I teach. I'm an IT lecturer too, and sometimes I tell students that however good you are, if there is no visibility on the platform, then you are good as being in your village, because anybody who wants to ascertain your profile, somebody who wants to make some cross checks, somebody who wants to carry out some due diligence will just run to your platform. If they find nothing, then it actually means that maybe this person is not as productive. And I think this also brings out, we recently had some of these monthly engagements that we have in BLG. And for sure, maybe after this, I have some customers who have been looking for you. I think there were some parties who participated in the event, and you had talked to them, and I think they have been saying, where do we get Rachel Beck? And I was telling them, oh, she's there live on LinkedIn. And I said, oh, how do we get her? So I think this is just part of the example, because these young people are doing very good projects, I think in Rabbit or stuff like that. But when we met, you picked a lot of interest in them, and it has been a problem of how to get back to you, because the only way was through the interaction that we have. Yeah, those interactions that we have in the BLG. Yeah, so I think that brings in the importance role of social media. I think also the point of saying what would happen 10 years down the road. I think people, yes, we need to have, especially very many young people, what they talk, what they post, how they discuss their issues online, because several years down the road, you might regret. And yet all this information is published out there, and there's no way you can actually be able to retract. So I think,
Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
Those are,
people need to see that, Maganda. They need to know that once it's out there. So now it's not saying like if I write you a message, right, that I can't delete it and we can't edit it. I have to delete people's comments when they write something nasty. What I'm saying is that if people are wondering why they didn't get the job, or why they didn't get that promotion, or why they didn't get that huge business opportunity, it's probably because you did something on your social media, and when people went to check you out and to vet you, they saw something that they didn't agree with. That's what I want to tell people.
Oh, okay. Okay. So now still in your sphere of influence, which I know that you have so much, on Tanya Innovations, we primarily trying to motivate young people, business people, changing their mindset. And we also know that just the way you came from India, we have quite a number of Africans who came from this continent. And some of them have been able to wade the storm to get to where they are. And we especially need them sometimes for motivations, just talking to young people and learning their stories. Some of them, we want them to tell us how they have been able to run businesses. Some of them, we want them to tell us how they have been able to overcome the obstacles to be what they are. So I'll just give an example. Majority of the Africans, celebrities who are, I think, Florida or whichever, yeah, but basically some of these celebrities in the US. How possible is it for you to be able to make those conversions that we have such personalities on the show once in a while? Because I hear so many times, majority of them complaining, they don't have a platform. Now we have this social media. For example, I would not understand, somebody would say, maybe we don't have a platform to be able to encourage our young brothers or our sisters back in the continent, or maybe they want to give business tips of how they are able to do whatever they are able to do in the US, which we could be able to borrow a leaf in Africa. And I think that can create a lot of substantial change. Do you, in your network, have these personalities that we can tap into, especially on such a show, to motivate, to create change to young people back here in Africa?
Yes, I do. And I will send you about 3 or 4 people you definitely need to know and get on the show, because they are African. They represent Africa. And absolutely. I'd be happy to make the introduction for you.
Okay, that would be great, because we're just thinking of different ways of how we can make information available to people, unlearning to learn. There's no way you can unlearn unless you pick one or two things from some other person. Or sometimes, once we keep on talking to each other, especially internally here, we exhaust options. But it would always be good to make sure that, people can come on the show, they listen to Rachel Beck talking about her life story, they listen maybe to somebody else who has done well in a certain field, and then we learn and exchange along that line. Yeah.
And that's what it's about. I've been telling people since the pandemic, since the first lockdown, this is not the time to hoard your knowledge. This is the time to share your knowledge with this world. Nobody needs to be, everybody needs to share their knowledge. That's what we need right now. We need the givers. We need the selfless people. We need the people who are realizing that this is a global community. It's a global community. LinkedIn is, BLG is. We need people to share their talents with this world. That's what we need.
Okay, that's great. Now, back to social media. Now, we have new jobs, or we have, could I say, new profession like social media influencers. Now in business, we talk about what we call them, network. The people who manage those networks, they are not necessarily social media influencer, but I have seen, for example, members in our network who got awards of being best network. Like I think Mark Jarrett, he won a medal in being one of the best network operators, but just making sure that they can link people. This is relatively a new thing back here. Would like to know from you, how do these networks produce the type of productivity that a business in the current era needs? Yeah? And the reason why I'm asking you, on our BLG platform Africa, we have about 130 companies, yeah, or I would say business owners, of whom I've brought across to learn a number of things from members in other continents. But I think sometimes the people who network here in Uganda or Africa, most of the time they think that the type of solutions that are back maybe in Europe or the US may not necessarily make that type of business sense. What advice would you have? Because to me, I think that we need to always be open to new ideas as we manage whatever that we are managing, because we cannot get away from where we are. We cannot go to another level if we are not able to learn from other people who are doing either much better than us or who have involved advanced techniques of what they do. So just briefly talk about the relevance of networks. You can paint it in terms of Business Live Global. You can paint it in terms of the social media work you do, and how this works for so many other businesses in the United States, in the United Kingdom, and the world over, as we keep on just the same way we've been doing.
If you have a business, this is a question I get a lot. This is a good question. We got it. You are responsible for marketing that business. You are the voice of your business. You speak and you use your voice for your company. And you have to ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you marketing your company the correct way? Marketing is a deep passion of mine. It's something that I've loved for a long, long time. Are you branding yourself? Are you taking responsibility to market yourself on social media? It's a wonderful opportunity for you to do that. If you have a business, you should definitely be on social media. If you're not on there, if you and I were sitting down with somebody was across the table and they had a business, and I've helped, small businesses in this country. And my first question to you would be, are you on social media? Are you building your brand? Are you marketing yourself? Are you doing what's necessary? Are you creating content? How do we, in a world that is so competitive with all the businesses that are out there looking to succeed, you need to ask yourself, what are you doing with your company to make it successful?
Okay.
You are responsible for your company's success. If you're a small business, like I am, I've been a small business owner for 15 years. You are responsible for the success of your company. And then you need to ask yourself, are you willing to do the work? That's a big problem that I see. Everybody wants success. They want success, right? They think it's going to happen overnight. No, it doesn't happen overnight. It is putting the work in every day. It's important to be consistent on social media. It's working the hours that are necessary to make your business successful. And Magana, to be honest with you, some people want it, but they don't want to do the work. And then there's other people who know it and they do the work. There's a very big difference.
Okay. Thank you on that. I have a question here and I'll read it. Can social media influencer be a career? And how do people earn from it? What does it take to earn from it?
You got to build your brand. Yeah. How do you make a living from social media? Is that the question? You need, first step one, build your brand, build your network. And what happens is companies will come to you. That's exactly what's gonna happen. You need to figure out what your niche is. Let me say this right. You need to be original on social media. If you're doing everything that everybody else is doing, you're not going to make it. Stand out. Be original. What makes you different from somebody else on social media? And that's a question people should be asking themselves.
Is to make sure that I can create that change, because I've realized the world is slowly drifting off the path. But because it's drifting without people being aware, everybody is thinking that whatever is going on is okay, and yet we are losing it. So I don't know how one can stick to that purpose without looking like you are losing the masses. Because these very people whom you are losing are the reason why you are creating this platform to attract them. But then when they come, they want you to be able to offer what they love. And sometimes what they love is poison. You understand what I mean? So it's catch-22 situation. I don't know how we can be able to balance these two. One is that you want people, and then when you have these people, you want to create the change among them. But for them to come, they are interested in completely different type of information compared to what you are giving. But you also know that when you study in detail, you realize that the challenges that are making these people to be what they are is actually the type of information they're accessing. I'll give you just a very small example. WhatsApp is a very powerful tool here. But most of the WhatsApp's groups that I engage in, you will find young people discussing, for example, politics from morning till evening. Now, when you bring information to do with how you can run your business, for example, we are discussing how you can use social media to make money. We are discussing about the tips of how you can manage a platform. This will not be as hot information as bringing a political commentator. You understand what I mean? So I don't know how we can actually be able to drive this to people that sometimes we cannot just offer what they want, but we need to be able to change their mindset by making sure that they have information that can be helpful to them.
And the information's already available. Now it's a matter, listen, I was just discussing this with one of my friends. You and I can teach everybody the way, how to do it, how to be successful. Then it's up to them. You're talking about the mindset, right? If they're choosing a path of this is what they're going to spend their day doing, every day you should be you have the ability on LinkedIn to learn from the best of the best. You have the ability to network every single day. We can't control where people spend their time, where they're putting their energy. That's on them. There's nothing you and I can do about it. What we can control is what you and I do, and we can teach the way, and that's the difference. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
We can't control where people are going to show. If that's where they're choosing to spend their time, and then they're asking themselves why they're not successful, there's the answer. They have to ask themselves every day, what are you doing to better your life? And people should know the answer to that question.
Wow. Okay. Okay. I think that's quite useful. Okay. Now, are you having these type of challenges back in the United States?
People are really driven. They're very determined, just like my friends in Africa are, right? And I'm going to introduce you to them. They're very driven. They get up and they hit that ground running every day. They're hustling every single day. And no, people are determined. We are very, very determined. And I wouldn't, like, personally, like, if that's how my friends are choosing to do their time, everybody gets to live their life, right? The way they want to, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. Let me just say that. As long as it's not hurting anybody else. But when it comes to success, gotta do the work. You have to do the work, right? You just have to. There's no shortcuts. If they're gonna, we are not responsible for what people do. We are responsible for what you and I put out into the world.
Oh, okay. Joseph Kaune, thanks, Rachel, our guest, and our host, Mr. Maganda. Kaune from Miracle of Faith Church in Zambia. Thank you very much, Brother Kaune, for tuning in.
Thank you.
Okay.
And everyone.
Okay, so we're having about 10 minutes to go. What will you, now we've talked about what we can do in terms of management. What will you say also has been the challenge of managing this huge profile of followers on the social media?
I would say this. I'm trying for people to be more patient, right? And that is the lesson that I've been trying to get through on social media. I am a team of one. People think I have this huge team behind me, and I don't. I'm literally a team of one. So I'm trying to teach people about patience. And the more patient people are, the more that they're going to be remembered. That's the truth. That's what's going to happen.
Okay. Okay. We have Mary Maganda here saying, great point, Bex. We are in charge of our decisions. Okay.
Thank you.
I think she seems to agree with you. Okay. Wow, that's great. Okay, so Beck, back to Business Live Global. I'm sure that we have a number of businesses or business CEOs that are listening here. We have maybe people would love to join on board.
Oh, they absolutely want to join BLG.
Yeah. So could you be able to tell them either the benefits of joining Business Live Global, or overall what it stands for, and some of the benefits they're bound to get if they joined Business Live Global?
Well, first of all, they definitely want to join BLG. It is a phenomenal organization. It is a wonderful way to market your company and your business. Wonderful way to network. We have our great meetings every month where we go into these breakout rooms what happens in those rooms? We introduce people and their companies. You get a chance to meet with them. This is networking on a whole other level. That's the best way to describe it. BLG is networking on a whole other level. You want to be a part of it. You want to join it. It's a wonderful opportunity, and why wouldn't you join it? There's no reason.
Okay. No, I think I would in particular want to thank BLG
Yes.
for the resource
And
persons, the type of people they have made us to connect with. I am sure that I have learned a lot. Every third Friday of the month, we manage to meet with CEOs, business starters, and this is not only in Africa. Now we are talking to Rachel Beck is my colleague. I represent Africa. She represents the United States. We have other great people in Holland and the whole of Europe. And we get a chance every third Friday of the month to come together and discuss issues to do with businesses. And I think what I love is the wealth of the people, the type of, not wealth in terms of money, but in terms of knowledge resource, in terms of experiences. And I think if you are out there, you are in Africa, and you want to join Business Live Global, you have a free door to come on board, and I'm sure you will not remain the same, just like some of us have not remained the same. Yeah. So I think Rachel and team, I really want to thank you because this work is making tremendous strides. We already have
thank you to Victoria Neal.
Yeah,
thank you to Victoria.
We already have potential investors, I think, from Korea, from the UK, who have already picked interest in Uganda. And we hope we shall be able to close this. I'm working hand in hand with the Deputy Director General of Uganda Investment Authority currently, trying to make sure that we have a closure on that. Yeah? But we are all doing these things using social media. So this looks like it's not a serious thing, but it's the only way you can actually be able to get to people you will have otherwise not been able to get to. I am planning to personally make physical visits. Yes, I know virtual are good. I think very soon, Rachel, I'll be traveling to the US. I'll be traveling to the UK to meet other parties in this network. I would in particular want to thank Victoria Bell.
Yes, and the whole team. Yes, acknowledge the whole team too. We want to thank
she is doing a wonderful job. And
yes, she is.
Yes, I would like also to send other members in Europe, but I would like also to thank in a special way the network in Africa. Right from South Africa, Joshi Bambo. I think we have Abraham George in the UK. Then we have from Sierra Leone, we have Beatrice from Tanzania, we have those ones from Malawi, our colleagues from Malawi, those from Tanzania, Doto Ibambasi, and then the natives of Uganda themselves, where we officially launched BLG. I want to send clear greetings to all of you. I think Elami International and the rest, we acknowledge your presence. Yes, we have started networking, takes time, but I'm sure we're going to create the change we want to see. So we thank you so much, and we welcome others who have not yet joined this type of network, that this is the way to go. We are going global, and you're not going to discuss global with the local mindset. Okay? Anything else you'll want to add as we summarize? Rachel?
Thank you for having me, Maganda. It was absolutely a pleasure. I really enjoyed your questions today. Thank you for everybody who tuned in, and definitely join BLG. You're going to absolutely love it. Like I said, I would not have met Maganda if it wasn't for BLG. And I love going to those meetings the third Friday of the month. And get out there, network. It is worth your time. So thank you, everybody who joined us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I think as I read the last comments, we are coming to the end of this show. Lillian Esse, thanks for the great thoughts. Thank you, Lillian. Caro Namkose, Kasubo Esther, listening in for the first time. Oh, Madam Kasubo Esther, thank you very much for tuning in all the way from Jinja. Then Beauty Point College. This is in Nairobi. Nice work, technical team. Okay, loud and clear, big up. Thank you. I think Beauty Point is trying to fly the flag of Kenya. Thank you so much for tuning in. I would like to thank all the viewers and listeners for the time that you have spared to join on this platform. I would also, in particular, want to thank Madam Rachel Beck for sparing her time. I think we have enjoyed your time. We wish you to have a better afternoon. Yes, we have. I can see all the listeners well tuned in for all this time. We really want to thank you for your time. We hope that we can make this world a better place. And I am sure that we are going to do this. And by God's grace, have a lovely afternoon. And bye-bye. Thank you.